In the last video, we left off by creating a few simple type layers, but now we're going to take a look at some of the more advanced things we can do with our text in Photoshop. The first one is try selecting your type tool and then just going onto the canvas here and just clicking and dragging. All right, and you'll see it creates this little text box for us. And when you let go, you're ready to start typing inside here. So remember, this was for a DVD cover. So what I'll do, type in this DVD, Matt Kloskowski shows you how to raise your miniature Shetland ponies, as well as how you can cure, let's spell right, you can cure your gambling habit in just 1 week. All right, but the important thing to remember, other than the silly text that I just typed, and by the way, I have no idea what I'm going to type when I start typing these things. I think it's funny just to see what comes up, but once you get past all that, if you noticed, as I started to type, it would automatically put me down onto the next line. And that's the purpose of having that box to type in, because now you don't have to hit the enter key or the return key. It's automatically going to give you the line break. But as always, you can select this text and you can start to do different things with it. Of course, you can change anything about the font that you like, but you've also got some of the alignment options up here. You've got left align, you've got right align, you've got center. There's also the ability to change color. There's anti-aliasing, which is how smooth your text looks. All right, the none option is going to be very blocky text. It's almost like what you'd see on the web. But the smoother you get, the more crisp your text is going to look. And the best way I can describe this to you is just to zoom in on the type layer down here, and let's take a look at it. So we'll go with none. And you see how it doesn't fade at all around the text? That's no anti-aliasing. And then if I go with smooth, or maybe something like strong, you'll see that it actually shows like it fades around the text here, which it looks kind of weird now, but when you look at it as you normally would be looking at it, it actually makes your text look much smoother. That's what gives that text, especially for images that are going to be on screen or on the web, that's what gives them some of those smoother edges. Okay, so as we move down the line here in the type tool, there's an icon on the far right, and what this does is it opens up the character palette, and you can change a lot of the things that we already have, which is the font type, the font style, the size, all these things. But there's some other settings in here, like the ability to change the spacing between the lines of text that you have. So take a look when I start to change this. See how it brings my text actually closer together, the lines of the text. And as I increase it, they go further apart. So I can change these settings and I can bring them closer or spread them out more if I want to. I can also change the spacing between the text. As I bring it down, it makes it almost illegible. But I can change it to make my text appear tighter, or I can expand that distance between each letter in the text. And that's really what we're getting at here, is bringing in the space between the letters, bringing that closer. You can change your horizontal or vertical scaling of the text, which essentially just stretches it one way or the other. But there's also some neat little icons down here. There is a faux bold and a faux italic, or fox bold and italic. And what they are is, if the font that you happen to be using doesn't support a bold or italic style to it, you can use one of the faux bold or italic styles, which gives you close to the same effect. You've also got all caps, you've got small caps, you've got superscript, you've got subscript, we've got the ability to underline text and also to strike through. All right, and next to that we have the paragraph palette, which in addition to the alignment options that we have, also gives us some other justification options. Now, there's one more little thing that I think is kind of cool about type layers. It involves another tool, but you can create type on a path. By creating a path, like something over here with the pen tool. So just select your pen tool inside the toolbox, come up here, click on that little middle icon here, it's the paths icon, and then I'm going to click, and then I'm going to click and drag, and then I'm going to click and drag again. And you'll see it creates kind of a wavy path for me. Well, now I can take my type tool, and watch what happens. Right now it's a little box, but as I bring that type tool closer to the path, See how it creates that little line through it? It's the official term. It's the little line through the type tool. What this lets us do is when I click on this path, now I can start to type, in this DVD, Matt Kloskowski, blah, blah, blah. And as I create that text, it's putting it along the path for me, which now means when I take my move tool and I move this around, notice how it moves the whole thing around. So you're making your type conform to a shape instead of just having to type it into a regular text block. All right, so there's some pretty neat things you can do. Make sure you get in there and explore. If you ever lose where those palettes are, you can always come under here to the window menu. You'll get to the character palette or under the paragraph palette, but that is the place where you can go to get some very professional looking type right here inside of Photoshop. You don't have to go to another program because you can do most of the things you need inside of those two palettes.